silang lahat kung ano.
Or we could base our recruitment of mentors dun sa mga ni-raise na challenges, mentoring challenges ng mga applicants.
Yeah, although, yeah, mas maganda yung matching nun, pero baka masyado maano yung lead time.
Okay.
Parang when they submit, we might not have enough time to match them. So, generalists naman yung mga, di ba, MDM. So, carry naman nila. Di ba? And then we can just, ano, reassign them along the way. But I think we're better off kung on board na sila even before the teams come in.
All right. So maybe I'm gonna ask them on their preference
Yes.
of financial inclusion
Yep.
aspects.
Hi, Bella.
Hello po.
So, ano yung unit mo, Bella, sa PhilDev?
Hi, Sir Elmer. So yeah, I'm the communications assistant. So I'm part of the comms team.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you been involved in the previous ideation challenges?
Yeah, I've been part of the Messy Bessie challenge before
Okay. So
as
how
a
was it for you?
facilitator as well. It was great naman.
So ano yung
Oo.
when you say facilitator, just so that I know more with more specifics. So as a facilitator sa Messy Bessie, what did you do?
Well, for me, yung ginawa ko mainly was really just coordinating with my group. And then if they had any questions, I'll just help them out. But then of course, like there are instances where I don't really know the answer to certain questions. So in that case, I'll just get back to them and share, and share some of the insights that I have on the said topic. I'm gonna, yeah.
So hindi naman stressful. Did they expect you to be an expert na
No naman. Like kasi there were mentors as well. So parang I also tell them na to ask their mentors, to ask questions rin to their mentors if they are unclear with a few things, ganon. So yun. It's not very stressful naman. Yeah.
Okay,
But
good.
it's quite fun. It's a very rewarding experience with them.
Si Adriel naman, what was your role in previous activities?
Hello, sir. I'm also a part of the facilitating team. So I also handled 2 groups during the Innovation Challenge with Messy Bessie. Plus, similarly, so I just ask questions kung paano, ano na yung current progress nila when it comes to their innovation, and then answer the questions if they have regarding sa process, or if for example regarding dun sa submission ng mga outputs, ayun, more on checking in kung kamusta yung progress na, just to make sure that they have an output every week. Yes.
Okay. Sige, just let me know when we are supposed to start.
Hello. Hi, sir.
Hi, Sam.
Ayan, sorry po for being late.
Okay.
Okay na yung internet.
Naka-data. So, pag nag-lag, pasensya na. Ayun. Sige, I think we're complete na po, sir.
Yeah, I think Kevin will just follow.
Si Kevin na lang. Pupunta ba si Kevin? Tricia, would you know?
Ako na, i-message ko na lang siya, pero magka-chat kami kanina.
Ayan, so we can start na po.
Sige, maybe we can do a quick round of introductions. I'm joined by...
Sige, thank you.
Sige, so I'll start. Hi, I'm Elmer Soriano. I'm with Inclusive Growth School, under which the Financial Inclusion Lab is hosted. And then I'm joined this afternoon by my teammate Alvin. Alvin?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alvin. I'm with Dr. Elmo Soriano of the Inclusive Growth School. I'm
Okay,
handling training and capacity building.
thanks.
Hello.
And then Sam
Um,
and Idel.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. So, ako po si Sam. I am currently working as a project coordinator for PhilDev, and I am also currently serving as the team lead for the FIL Innovation Challenge.
mm.
Okay,
Hi, I'm Triksha Bravo. I'm part of the entrepreneurship team of Field Dev Labs. Together with me, actually yung teammate ko under Field Dev Labs is Sam and Kevin. And then we are being supported by Adriel and Bella for all the communications and ano po, ano yung tawag doon, materials needed. And also yung support nila sa ano rin po, sa pagpa-FASI for the whole innovation challenge po. Okay.
okay, thanks, Trixia. And then Ariana.
Ay, sorry, Ariana's here pala. And Ariana also, Ariana is
Present.
also part of our team. She's new po in our team.
Present. Hi, sir,
Sorry,
ulit.
Ariana. Hindi ko
Ariana.
napansin
Hi,
video ka pala. Hi. Siguro, Ariana,
Hi,
you can
sir.
introduce yourself.
Hi, Sir Elmer again. Hi, I'm Ariana. I'm new to the NCF team. Wow, yun lang po.
Okay, and then we were chatting with Adriel and Bella already kanina. And then, hi Kevin. We were doing a round of introductions. I'm joined by Alvin. So, ikaw na lang, hindi pa nagpapakilala as kay Alvin.
Hi, hello. Hi, Alvin. I'm Kevin. I'm actually I'm the entrepreneurship manager of PhilDev Foundation. So there. So I'm part of the team.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Kevin. Sige, before we start, maybe we can have a quick leveling of expectations. I don't, see Sam sent you an email and then you were forced to block off your 3 to 5 p.m. What do you want to happen or what do you expect to happen by 5 p.m.? Just off the top of your head, ano yung in-expect ninyo? Anyone?
Sige, ako na lang mauna. So, siguro for me, what I would like for us to do until 5 a.m. is siguro for me at least, to be more familiarized with the financial inclusion situation in the Philippines and actually what financial inclusion is, because I have a very vague understanding of what FI is. So siguro to deepen that understanding. That's my goal for today.
Okay. Others?
Sige, I'd go na. Siguro for the next 2 hours, I want to deepen also my understanding with financial inclusion. Although I have a very minimal background when it comes to financing. Focused pa siya on agriculture based on
Okay.
nung college pa. So, baka syempre nag-iba na yung landscape ngayon. And of course, involved na rin yung innovation and technology. So, I'd like to learn more on how, siguro by the time we are facilitating the teams already, I'd be able to siguro at least answer basic questions about what's happening in the current landscape. Just, some of them kasi might need advice. Hindi man technical, pero siguro yun, backgrounder on it.
Okay, thanks, Adriel. Anyone else?
Siguro ako po on my end would be similar to Sam and Adriel said. Deeper understanding po of about financial inclusion, and of course I would like to know how tech can be of help, in the bigger picture, because we're running an accelerator. It's also nice to know how these enterprises can help in the bigger picture po.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else na may dadagdag?
Doc, on my part,
Yes.
I'd
Okay.
like to have a clear map of the roles of facilitators in uh, this initiative.
Okay. Sige, thanks. Okay, anyone else? Sige, so oh, may I do screen sharing? Naka-disable daw eh.
Sorry sir, wait lang po.
Okay. Sige, so while...
Okay na po sir.
okay na?
Apo.
Okay.
Who else needs screen sharing? Wala naman lang. Okay.
Yan. So you see my screen already, right? Facilitators training.
Yes po.
Sige, konting... so, yan. So just a bit of history. The Financial Inclusion Lab concept sort of became clearer in the context of BARM, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region for Muslim Mindanao, around last year, no? Late last year. Kasi interesting yung challenge doon. They had surrenderers, no? Fighters, MILF fighters who have been fighting for 20 years, for decades, no? 20 years more or more. So, mga iba, they dropped out of college 20 years ago just to join the movement, no? And then they won their autonomy, and now they have to transition from being war fighters to farmers, no? And then they will be given money, no? Isusuko nila yung yung baril nila, and then they'll get 40,000 pesos in cash. And they're around 40,000 former combatants, no? And then bukod doon, the BARM region is getting 70 billion annual budget for the transition. So they will experience a sudden surge in financing. Yun nga lang, they have the poorest. BARM has the poorest financial sector in terms of ATMs and banks on the ground. So, how can we in the early version we were thinking pang peace and development to, no? How can we support former combatants hindi marunong magnegosyo, hindi marunong mag-farm because they've been spending their life fighting a war, and then transition them so that they will they will thrive, no? If this fails, and ISIS would be very interested to see this fail, they would be pointing out, they will be, then the government, combatants might be forced, former combatants might be forced to pick up arms again, tas makipaglaban sa frustration. Okay? So we thought, so anyway, yun yung last year, around this time last year, that was the version that we were discussing. No? But we realized, we discussed this with BSP, and the challenge was nationwide. So for this afternoon, ang objective natin is at the end of the training, we want you to be able to confidently facilitate ideation sessions. And then, pag may tanong sila sa inyo, direct teams to relevant learning resources, and then discuss ways of going on a deep dive and co-creation process with financial inclusion stakeholders. Okay? Inisip namin, at least with the BARM configuration, we had, the very first time we pitched this to the College of Social Work and College of Social Work and Community Development at UP Diliman. And then nisip namin, university partnership ito between, say, starting with UP Diliman and Mindanao State University in Marawi, or in Cotabato, no, Notre Dame University, just so that we could work with knowledge capital that was existing in the universities. Okay? So ngayon sa framework, no. So ang financial inclusion framework ng Bangko Sentral, for those who have heard of financial inclusion, many of them, most will not have heard of financial inclusion. And for those who have heard of financial inclusion, they will say, ay, kailangan may bank account. Pag may bank account sila, included na sila. No? So hindi na sila target ng financial inclusion solutions if they already have a bank account. But that is not correct. No? The Bangko Sentral has a more holistic framework which includes access, quality, usage, and welfare. Okay? So it's not enough to, because of the coronavirus and ayuda, 7 million people got mobile banking accounts. So that was a big breakthrough in terms of accelerating the number of people who have bank accounts, no, GCash or Paymaya, ganyan, no. Ang idea doon is it becomes that facilitates transferring ayuda to people through mobile banking. But it's not enough to have a bank account kasi pag nilagyan ng ayuda and then winidraw mo, natira na lang doon 5 pesos and then you have it in cash, then you're not able to fully utilize the functionality of GCash. No? So you carry, di ba, sasakay ka ng tricycle para magbayad sa tubig, edi gumastos ka ng pamasahe. Di ba? When in fact, if you use GCash, then baka mas mababa na yung costs mo because you didn't have to pay for your fees. So ang goal is to have an ecosystem of solutions so that there are appropriate designs and distribution channels, quality of product, we leverage the use of technology, and then actually ginagamit. No? And then may financial education rin. No? So that over time, yung mga taong may bank, may pera, well, lahat ng tao, we learn how to save and invest. Okay? So ang effective access includes all of these, no? Savings, credit, payments, insurance, remittance, and investments. Most of fintech is in the payments space. Yang Paymaya, GCash, those are payments solutions. Okay? So that is only one of 6 categories of financial inclusion products or solutions. Okay? So that you can sink your teeth into the financial inclusion, mag-workshop tayo. No? So there are, how many of you? 6. Yeah. Ang gagawin natin for 15 minutes, I mentioned this yesterday. Yun nga pala, we're joined by Chi Valdez. She's our teammate sa Civica. No? So inisip ko, mag-workshop tayo, mag-conceptual, just so that you can sink your teeth and comprehend by through design thinking. For the next 15 minutes, imagine, and maybe we can work in groups of 3. So sino bang host natin? Can you put us in triads? 3 ba? How many of us are there? Put 9. Us in triads. 9, no? So 9, 3. So yeah, 6. In 2 groups of 3. And for 15 minutes, imagine yung scenario na meron kayong kasambahay na na mukhang magiging loyal, gusto niyo siya, mahal niyo siya, and mahal niya at kita niyo she will take care and love your family member, no, whether it's a child na kailangan may yaya or may matanda sa inyo, yung parents niyo or yung lolo ninyo kailangan na ng alalay, no, pero mukhang maasahan niyo yung yaya ninyo, yung kasambahay for the next 5 years. Okay, so by 2025, kunwari may some artificial cutoff, no? Kailangan na niyang umuwi sa kanila, no? But for the next 5 years, she will be stay in kasambahay ninyo, and she will be earning 7,000 pesos per month. So 7,000 times that will be around times 13 months, that will be around 80,000 per year, times 5 years, 400,000 yon. No? Pero, for most kasambahays, well, actually, kahit ako when I was younger, wala akong masyadong savings. When I got a credit card, I got into credit card trouble. No? So, assume nyo na dahil gusto nyong i-reciprocate yung pagmamahal niya doon sa inaalagaan niyang pamangkin niyo or anak niya or lola ninyo, you want her and her family to derive as much benefit from the 7,000 pesos cash flow na that will be insured for the next 5 years, 60 months, no? 400,000 yung total. And gagawin yung your own prototyping ng financial inclusion. Over the next 5 years, you want to build up some savings for her. You want her to be able to access credit that is relevant for her. Kung kunwari, meron siyang papaaralin na magka-college na, magpapatuition, ganyan-ganyan, no? Saan siya makakahiram, no? And hindi yung personal loan, ha? Yung mas institutional formal loan, no? Do you enroll her in a local cooperative, credit co-op, mga ganyan-ganyan. Payments, you want her to be equipped to do payments, no? Para yung kuryente doon sa probinsya nila, binabayaran niya na lang through her own fintech platform from her own room at your household, no? Kasi insurance, no? She gets the appropriate level of insurance for her and her household back sa probinsya. And then nakapag-remit siya na cost-effective, no? Hindi yung napapamahal siya sa Palawan pera padala, but she's able to use optimally and remit to her household a slice of the and then investment, no? So yung of the 400,000 pesos na kikitain niya, nakapag-invest siya in shares of Ayala Corporation and SM, and kumita na rin yung investments niya starting year 1 dahil nakapag-invest siya. So how might you cobble together, no? Improvise so that yung yaya ninyo, by year 1 pa lang, nag-increase na yung financial literacy niya, na appreciate na niya na, kailangan ko mag-invest, kailangan ko mag-save. Hindi pwedeng lahat ng i-remit ko sa asawa ko, pinapang sabong niya lang yun, blah, 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 blah. So, for 15 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes lang muna, then we'll check in on you. At in teams of 3, try to put together, so maybe you should screenshot this. Okay, screenshot nyo na. And then, yeah, we can also send it on share. And then, ito screenshot nyo na rin. No? Okay, so these are the parameters for financial inclusion. So for 10 minutes, mag-brainstorm kayo on how you would make your kasambahay as financially included as possible so that she would derive the most gains, no? From the different possible solutions and resources and services in her environment, and she's able to access this para mapakinabangan niya. Kasi most of them, marginalized sila. Kuminsan, nandyan lang yung co-op and they can start an account with 100 pesos, but they don't know that. No? So yun yung mga possible interventions na pwede niyang gawin. Okay, so for 15 minutes, gawin natin yun. It's 3:26. Let's get back together at 3:40.
Doc,
yes.
A sort of clarification. Are we gonna just provide a guidance or technical assistance to this kasambahay?
Hindi, dapat maging financially included siya.
So any intervention that would lead her to become financially included.
Yes, with covering as many of these or all of these elements of the Bangko Sentral framework.
All right.
Okay. So si Triksha is host, can you put the field dev teams into 3 triads, please? 3 breakout, and 2 breakout groups of 3 each. Triksha.
Hello, sorry. Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Yes, po.
Can you put the group? Can you form 2 breakout rooms and then put 3 persons per room?
Okay.
Can you do breakouts using this current configuration? Tama, I had assumed na you could do that.
2 breakout rooms po. Okay.
2 breakout rooms and then put 3 field dev people per room.
Okay po.
Yeah, please remove
Tama po ba, sir?
Alvin.
Tama, isa pong tatlong field dev people po per room. Ay,
Yes, and then please exclude Alvin and Chi. So kami, we will put us in room 3 na lang, kami ni Alvin and Chi.
Okay. Sige sir, wait lang. Close ko lang
Okay.
po yung lahat ng rooms. Kasi dalawa lang po yung ginawa ko.
Ay, no, sige. Well, just get us out of the rooms, then we'll be basically in the corridor and that works also.
Okay. Sige sir.
Yep.
44 seconds, sir. Wait lang. Nagka-countdown po kasi yung breakout rooms.
Okay.
Hello, Josh.
Ay, Triksha? Hindi po ako maka-join. I don't know.
Sorry, nagko-close kasi yung breakout rooms.
Okay.
Kaya nagka-countdown pa siya. Ayan, I'll make a new room na lang.
Hello. I don't know what happened. Nag-close yung breakout room.
Yeah. Okay, wait lang.
1 minute. Siguro 1 minute lang, no?
So, room 1. Okay. Okay. Okay na sir, wait lang. I-assign ko lang po.
Okay.
Ideal, Orlando. Dala. Okay.
Loko.
Oh, shucks. Sorry. Ayan. Okay na sir. Ilalagay ko na may room 3
Okay.
na po.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Okay na po.
Okay, thank you.
Say hello.
Sorry, kausap po kasi si Josh kanina. Habang nasa call. Okay, game.
Team M Trap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Ano ang gagawin natin?
Parang may pinakitang slideshow si Sir Elmer pero hindi ko kasi napansin.
basta parang we have to brainstorm on how to like financially include yung kasambahay as much as possible.
Kasambahay.
Oo.
Okay.
Yun.
Sige. Tapos ang binigay niya, di ba, parang 7K? 7K per month.
7K per month.
Yun hindi ko narinig.
Sweldo niya. Oo, parang
Yung
ang
sweldo
sweldo niya, 7K per month.
Ano yun? Parang scenario as ikaw yung amo, ganon? Or as...
Oo,
anong
parang
hanggang?
ikaw yung...
Okay. Wait lang, chat ko lang si Josh kasi may concern si LME. Wait lang. Sige, guys,
ayun.
na kayo.
Ayun, parang, di ba tayo yung amo, tas parang gusto natin na hindi siya, ayun, lumaki yung money ka.
Yeah, oo.
Ready talaga tayo eh.
Yung una ko naisip is merong savings account yung GCash na 3% per annum yung
kakabukas lang nun diba? With CITB ba yun?
CIMB.
Sorry, MB pala.
Oo. Tapos hindi kailangan ng hindi kailangan ng minimum amount, minimum balance. So 3%, medyo malaki-laki siya eh. Medyo malaki na yung 3%. Doon ko nilalagay yung pera ko eh. Mabilis naman lumaki.
Yeah,
talaga?
to other banks.
Actually,
nakakaunti ko lang kagabi eh.
Hindi ako familiar kasi puro BPI lang gamit ko. Wala akong GCash.
Ilipat mo rin yung ibang pera mo kasi minsan ang BPI down.
Oo nga eh. Yun nga. Actually, yun nagiging problema ko recently. Kasi pag nagbubukas nung app, parang laging naka-maintenance.
Hindi mo ma-access yung money mo.
Anyway.
Siguro require na lang isang bahay ay may GCash or Paymaya. Also better na diba?
Parang pwede din na yung parang idadaan na doon yung sweldo. Paano nakukuha yung money sa GCash? Sa bangko din?
Pwede kang mag 7-Eleven.
Yun ang hindi ko alam. Pwede kang
Pwede kang mag-cash in through 7-Eleven or
pero I mean yung withdraw. Kasi cash in
yung withdraw.
Pero pag mag-withdraw ka, ang alam ko, kailangan diba, sa debit account. Tama ba?
Well, sa GCash, pwede kang mag-cash out via, I think, ExpressPay. ATM, kasi pwede kang mag-request ng card eh. Pero you can also go, SM Business Center sa department store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siguro
Or pawn shop also.
yan, kasi diba ang mga kasambahay nagpapadala ng money sa probinsya, ganyan.
Yeah.
So, kasi diba may option yung GCash na pwede ka na parang smart padala, yung mga ganon.
Pwede din kasi sila through yung pawn shop, yung Villarica. Pwede kang mag-cash out through that.
Okay. Sige, so pwede
natin
natin
investing services. Okay.
Kasi kung
sa GCash din?
Bagay, di ba?
Oo.
More
power
silang
mga investment products.
More power for them to allocate yung money nila kung saan mapupunta kung gusto nilang magbayad ng kunyari, sasama mo na sa sweldo ni SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig niya, di siya na magbayad through the app, di ba? Kasi di ba may option doon na ganun doon?
Oo.
May SSS pa dito? Wala. Pwede ko pa. But yeah, you can pay bills here. You can help.
Yeah, oo, pwede mong i-bayad din yung SSS bill.
Magda-download na ako ng Gcash. Tapos wala siyang
Okay
mga
pa.
wala siyang credentials na
May
kailangan.
credentials, girl.
Kung meron, parang you kind of
Ako
need to
pala yung
apply.
kasambahay nyo, guys.
you need to, para maging verified, parang kailangan mo magpakita ng, nakalimutan ko na kung paano magpa-verify.
Ang pag-verify, kailangan mo ng government ID. Tapos, tatawag ka sa parang may option doon na kailangan mong tumawag with the, representative. Tapos makipag-video call ka sa kanya. Yes, ako si Sam, ganyan. May mga few questions lang yata. Tapos after nun, may verification na lalabas na verified na yung account mo. Tapos doon ka lang pwede mag-transfer, doon ka lang pwede pag-verified na yung account mo.
Pero like kung gusto mong basic account lang, they don't need the ID anymore. So it's also good for people na walang bank ID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tapos in terms of insurance, I don't know if you've heard of Maria Health. Parang siya eh. Maria Health, meron silang parang prepaid parang insurance cards. That makes sense. Meron silang prepaid na cards na pwede mong bilhin.
May G insurance. May nakita akong G insurance kanina.
Meron silang G Insure. Pero parang mahal. Ano ba? Ayan. Meron kasing prepaid.
Yung sa savings account.
Iba yung savings account sa mismong GCash.
Ay, sorry, wait lang.
Iba pa yun.
Sam, may kino-comments pala, may mga comments pala ako dun sa AR mo. Pa-address na lang yata kasi may pinapacheck sa akin si MNE. Pero kahit later mo na add.
Sige.
Okay, yun lang. Anyway, ano yan? Ariana, sorry.
Ayun, yung Maria Health, they have parang tawag dito. Meron silang mga prepaid cards na insurance. So like ito 899 pesos tas up to 15,000 yung coverage niya. Wow. So okay din yun kasi cheap lang. And then it's parang hindi niya kailangan ng whatever documents para bumili.
Sa rin yan? Under din yan ng Gcash? Pwede mong
hindi. Para siyang it's a medyo insurtech na company.
Okay.
Ayan, tapos wala.
So, magkano yung mga prepaid card?
Ito, 899. Merong 13. Yung, I think the cheapest one yung nakita ko, MaxiCare, is 899. Pero 15,000 yung coverage. And that's emergency coverage.
For 1 year yon?
Ay, hindi ko alam kung, siguro. Baka meron siyang expiration.
Usually 1 year naman yung mga yan. Annual yan.
Ano siya? Parang load. Ano ba yun? Pwede mong gamitin kung kailan mo gustong gamitin.
Baka one time, big time lang din, no? Nako sure. Ano
okay
din ulit? Sorry. Korean.
Maria Health. Maria
Health.
Okay din siya.
K-pop.
Meron silang 699. Meron silang 699 lang. Not bad. So, meron pay 50 pang dengue. Merong 80 pesos na pang leptospirosis. Meron yung mga maliliit na ganon. Tapos yung...
Para talaga siyang tingi. Ang galing.
Yeah.
Ito, prepaid plan. Yun ba yun? Buy cards.
Yeah. So, there's that.
So, halimbawa, yung ate natin, 7K yung sweldo niya. May mapupuntahan ba yung 1,000 niya? Na parang, like, to gastos for savings?
Yung sa saving, maganda yung sinabi ni Ariana na yung 3%. Kasi, malaking bagay
Mataas-taas na yan eh.
na kanila.
Yeah.
Mataas talaga
Medyo
yun
mataas
compared to other banks.
Kahit ako, yun ang ginagamit. Kahit ako, yun na yung ginagamit ko.
Yung Gcash saving yan, di ba? Gcash saving.
Yeah, yun yung save money, pero it's in connection with CIMB Bank. So like, kunyari, ako in a month, kung 10,000 yung laman ng savings account, 20 pesos yung per month, well now, 20 pesos yung tawag yung interest.
Yeah.
Ang laki-laki na nun, my gosh.
Yeah. Other than that, may mga rebates ang Gcash eh.
Oo.
Kahit simpleng pampaload lang, pwede na yun eh.
Yung credit lang yung hindi ko alam. Medyo mahirap magka-credit card dito sa Pilipinas.
Okay. So, di pwede nating ipadaan sa Gcash yung ano. Pwede bang tayo mag-dictate nun?
Which one?
Na parang yung sweldo niya, idaan natin sa Gcash. Tapos, diretso yung parang a portion of it dun sa savings.
Oo. Parang kahit 1,000 lang per month, diba? So, at least may 6,000 pa siya.
Pero ang 1,000 ba, gano'ng kalaki ang effect nun sa mga yaya? Kasi sa atin, okay lang yung 1K.
Hindi ko na
Isang
alam
Shopee lang yan.
But either way, diba? Kasi kunyari, maglagay ka ng 500 per month sa savings. Maglagay ka ng 500 per month. Tapos,
okay lang yan. Sorry.
Sorry, may tumawag bigla eh.
One-time emergency, 900. So, binabasa ko kasi yung
inclusive.
99. Yung Maria Health.
Yung 899, may siya, emergency room fees, may doctor professional fees.
Pero one time lang. So, pag na-emergency ka na, gano'n matagal to? Expiration. Pag
mas okay ba yung only consultation up to 3 people? So, pati
yun yung tinitignan ko eh.
At pati anak niya, di ba, pwedeng Pero telehealth lang yan eh. Pero okay na yun. Feeling ko kasi yung mga tao na hindi mahilig magpa-check up eh. Alam mo yan.
Use of digital. Relevant to actual usage. Financial education. Ayan ang problema. Ano financial education?
One time for emergency cases due to accidents para blah, blah.
Ilang minutes yung binigay sa Sir Elmer?
10.
Ay, parang tapos na dapat tayo.
10 minutes?
Sabi niya 3:40, di ba?
Actually, nasa room pa silang lahat.
35 na.
Lalabas na ba tayo mag-isa?
Kailan natin lumabas sila, Sir Elmer? So, later, di-discuss na lang natin yan.
Yeah.
Ayun. So, siguro pag pwede rin natin siyang bigyan ng no isa dito sa vouchers Maria Health.
Yeah.
Ano kaya dito? Na pwede na, sige, na lang natin, parang yung 1K niya, natin dun sa savings plus itong sa insurance. Pero di ba may PhilHealth? O iba pa yun?
Iba pa yung PhilHealth.
Oo.
Actually, dapat, as an employer, dapat tayo yung nagbabayad ng PhilHealth niya.
Sa bagay, kasi ang PhilHealth naman, hindi mo siya magagamit sa mga pa-consultation, no? Magagamit mo ba? Hindi ko pa kasi na-try.
Hindi ko ginagalaw. Hindi ko alam kung para saan yung PhilHealth. Hindi ko siya ginagalaw eh.
Nagagamit namin
pag-ibig ko.
siya pag yung sa ospital, makakatulong din siya yung sa hospital bills. Pero yung mga, yung mga madalian, di ba, ER, or parang hindi siya nagagamit sa gano'n. Hindi ako sure.
Yung alin, yung
PhilHealth. Nagagamit ba
Actually,
siya sa mga consultation?
hindi siya nagagamit sa consultation ang alam ko, pero may discount every time na magpapaano ka, operation. Malaki yung discount na nila sa hospital, mga major na gano'n.
Yung, ano tawag dito? Yung UNICEF. Impact for Impact. Yung UNICEF kasi meron silang program na nagsusupport ng mga startups na mag-fintech. Ito pala yung nakita ko. Itong Saffron.Asia. Ito yung nakita ko before na pang insurance din siya. Although for me, mas okay yung Maria Health But anyway. Kasi ako
Okay.
Medyo complicated siya. Ay, shit.
Ayaw na mag-Google search mo.
Wait lang ha.
May data ko.
Join lang ako sa room nila, Sir Alvin. Tatanong ko kung ano na.
Okay.
Hello po.
Hi, Trixia.
Lahat po kasi nasa breakout rooms. Do we close the breakout rooms po? Or...
How are they doing? Meron na bang nahinog na ideas? How is it going?
Kami po kasi nila Sam, medyo may mga ideas na po kami. But ilang minutes na po ba yung pwede niyong ibigay for the teams?
Is 7 minutes enough?
7 minutes pa po ulit?
Yeah.
Okay. Sige, sir.
Will that be... sige. Okay.
Okay. Hindi ko pa check yung sa kabilang team
sige, ganito. Why don't you put Alvin in team 1 and then me in team 2 and Chi and me in team 2 so we can listen in, and then ilabas mo na, let's go into plenary at 3:55.
Okay,
but at least Alvin and I will be listening in already.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. So mag-listen in lang tayo. Okay.
Saan po si Miss Chi?
Kasama ko na lang.
Okay po.
Ano kasi ito
Hello. Don't mind me.
Hi, sir.
Listening in lang kami. Stalkers lang kami.
Okay. So, sir, ngayon, nag-aano lang po kami. Nag-explore po kami ng mga different services na pwedeng ma-access ng aming kasambahay. Pangalanan din natin yung kasambahay natin. Si Lumen. para madali. Ayun. So, ang na-identify namin sir na services, just to give you
you don't have to explain to me. Okay lang yan.
Okay.
Go ahead with your flow. Don't mind us.
Ito yung Bean and Go. Ano kaya siya?
Okay yan
specific to OFWs.
I think hindi naman specific, but I think yun yung kanilang dito target market.
Kaya ito ni
Yung target.
Kasi okay din to no? Para sure na meron na pupuntahan yung pera. Which is, parang get started, no? Ano mangyayari dito?
Kasi yung GCash, para may auto cash in sila na option. So if ever na doon natin i-course through yung sahod ni Lumen, 'di ba? At least pwede natin siyang i-enroll dun sa auto cash in
savings.
na 500 pesos dun sa savings niya. na kumikita annually ng 3% given yung option ng CIMB, diba? So better yun, may one na tayong contribution for Lumen. And then second, yung 899, kung makakuha tayo siguro ng mas mababa sa 899 na health coverage, diba? The better. Kasi kahit sabihin mo merong mga, for sure meron dyang health insurance na made for them. Kahit sabihin mong 300 pesos monthly or 250 monthly, meron yan eh. Or kahit one-time payment na mataas. Like yung 899, one-time payment lang pala yun. Actually,
yun yung
pero
yung
emergency
concern ko doon.
Emergency coverage lang siya.
Yeah, at least, di ba?
Feeling ko sure mas mabilis makakatapos. Hindi po mabilis lang maubos yung 15,000. So,
yeah, pero kasi tipid mo, di ba, sa probinsya, hindi naman gano'ng kamahalan ng services ng mga hospital compared to private hospitals dito sa metro.
Ay, pero may siya. Ay, okay, never mind. Saan to available? Basta may MaxiCare? Basta may MaxiCare, available siya? Okay to.
Ang nakalagay lang kasi dun sa MaxiCare, parang kasama lang yung top hospitals, pero hindi naman sinabi kung alin yung mga hospitals na hindi kasama actually.
How do I activate my card? Okay. Ay, pwede ka din mag-register via SMS so you don't need internet. Cool. See, that's very important. Yung mga hindi mo kailangan ng internet.
Na i-data, no? So, mag-work yan siguro mag-work kaya yan sa mga di ba yung mga ate ngayon, ng mga phone nila kadalas keypad pa? Meron pa bang nagkikipad ngayon?
Parang wala na. Kasi parang yung mga naging katulong naman namin sa past few years, parang laging smartphone na. At least kahit
smartphone,
alam mo kahit Firefly pa yan or parang yung iba nga meron pang radyo eh. Yung may antena.
Sa bagay, kasi
marami nang
sila nag-Facebook.
Yeah. Unless yung katulong mo matanda, kung matanda si Lumen, di ba? For sure, keypad yun.
Ayun, pwede nga yun na yung isang e-ready, although nasa expiration date mo. Tapos, if ever na tsaka lang natin babayaran ulit yung isa pa. Tsaka niya lang pala i-replenish yung next card niya.
Maganda actually yung only consultation. Only consultation. Actually,
yun yung 12K, di ba?
Parang 1,500 lang yata yun. Pwede na tayong bumalik sa plenary pala, guys. Sabihan ko lang sa kabilang group. Leave room na lang kayo.
Sige.
Mag-broadcast.
Dito si Sir Elmer.
Sir Elmer, lalabas na po ba kami?
Hindi galing kay Sir Elmer yun. So, pwede na tayong bumalik.
Okay.
Sige pa.
In 1 minute, nagko-close na yung
Okay, we're back.
Hello.
Hello. Everyone nandito na, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So how was it? Gets nyo na ba yung, do you feel like you have a better idea of itong nasa framework ng the different elements of financial inclusion? In more practical terms, is it less of an abstraction now to you because of your 15-minute conversation? Anyone?
Ayan, sir, no? Sige, sabihin. Earlier, we were discussing, we want to, I agree, no? Yung, kumbaga, meron kaming initial assumptions, no? Na number one, what if the person hindi pa aware about using platform kasi sanay dun sa manual na pag-deposit sa bangko. Yan. So, given that assumption, no, what we thought of is maybe we can start accessing ano ba yung mga kasalukuyan niyang ginagamit. Ano yung matawag nating engagements niya with ng person with any financial service. So, and of course, masabi natin, unang iisipin yung sweldo. So, kung kasambahay, maybe yung sweldo, ibigyan natin siya ng orientation na yung sweldo mo, maaari natin gamitin ng BDO app, let's say, or GCash for you to access your salary. And perhaps, no, doon na mag-start yung education when it comes to, so ito, pwede mo itong magamit in order to transfer funds, to save. Yan. So, in a way, yun yung, doon kami nag-start eh. And eventually, the other services na masabi nating perceived need or magiging want na siya no, in the future, it will build up. It will build up once na full na yung awareness niya or engagement niya with the platform. And so from savings, credit, payment, and kanina parang naisip na okay, nagsimula sa savings, medyo onboarded na siya sa BDO, gumagamit na siya regularly, then eventually we add each of this as a component. So may idea na pwedeng mag-gamify. Gamification na okay for you, pag okay ka na sa credit, nagagamit mo na to sa, let's say, pagtustos ng pagbayad sa bahay mo. Let's say nakatira ka sa yon, kung ano mang probinsya yon. Hindi ko magbanggit ng province, no? Sa province, no? So maybe you can help your yung mga anak mo, no, na makapag-aral, to have access to this platform. So maybe you can make use of the payment feature. So parang gamification na level 2 ka na kapag nakakapag-payment ka na, ganyan. Then level 3. So yun, parang at least no, to tap in the motivational aspect of the person to learn further about these services. So yun yung insights namin so far. We're nandun kami. Yan.
Okay, thanks. O sa kabilang group naman, kumusta? Maybe you can give a quick summary rin of where your brainstorming took you.
Kami, sir, sige, go ahead. Go, Ariana.
Actually, nag-start kami because I have some experience with some like fintech apps that really not even geared towards but kind of improve financial inclusion. So the first thing that we thought of was paano nga mag-increase yung savings, which was I know that CIMB kasi GCash, in order to cash into GCash, you just have to go. You don't even need a bank. Pwede kang mag 7-Eleven, pwede kang mag and meron silang save money option that has a 3% per annum na interest rate, which is already pretty high. So we thought na parang kahit na mababa yung pera mo, I mean, it's not gonna get, mababa pa din yung interest, but at least 3% is more pa than most banks. And then parang from there, ano ba ginawa natin, Sam? from there parang din kami, okay, what other services are there? Para 'di ba kasi like parang important din yung you don't have to go through too many things. Parang UX kumbaga is very important na it's not too complicated. That's why we thought of kunyari may mga insurance like Maria Health gives prepaid cards na insurance which aren't that expensive. Hindi naman magagaling sa kanila. I mean like coming also from employers. Now you can provide emergency insurance and all that na prepaid lang. So ganon, and parang it kind of broadened from there na yung different products ng let's say GCash or that will give them, I guess, broaden their reach. Yun.
Yeah.
If that makes
And
sense.
also to add, kasi 'di ba pagka meron kang GCash application or kaya mga Paymaya applications, meron kang access sa microloans. So that gives them also yung credit, and then siguro what they can also get from those are yung rebates na binibigay ng ng mga apps na to. So yun. Basically,
Saka, to add din, #teamwork. Siguro sir yung naging premise din ng discussion namin is we are also like working on a budget. Kasi we were asking ourselves, pag yung 1,000 ba, mabigat na ba yun to let go na hindi ibigay sa family? Kaya ba nating i-save yan? So, parang yun yung additional na parang we also considered na how much are we capable of like leaving some for ourselves or for Lumen, kumbaga, and how much is available for the family.
Okay. Sige. So, naging clear na yun na yung meron ng financial inclusion solutions that are out there, but they are still in a way fragmented, no? Pwede ka naman magpalawan pera padala, no? Yung sweldo mo sa GCash ilalabas mo, tapos ipapasok mo sa Palawan pera padalas, 'di ba? Tapos magbabayad ka man ng tricycle to go to Palawan Palawan, then ang dami mo ng transaction fees because they were not yet integrated, no? So, but there are already solutions out there. Pero yung transaction, yun, because of the fragmentation pa, then it's inefficient. There are inefficiencies. And for us in the middle class, medyo may mga well-integrated ng solution. So it's more seamless for the middle and upper class. For the lower income classes, it's more fragmented. So the transaction costs are higher. And therefore it eats more, 'di ba? It bites into their smaller paycheck. 'Di ba? Mas maliit na nga yung sweldo nila, mas malaki pa yung transaction fee nila. So yung opportunities for innovations, well, there are many opportunities for innovations, and pag technology enabled na, then integration should become much simpler, no? So to give us some language on how the efficiencies, hold on, which screen of mine do you see? I screen shared. Ano yung nakita niyong?
Yung PowerPoint po.
Okay, good. Okay. So may konsepto ng horizontal and vertical integration. Okay? And yung mga GCash, yung PayMaya is a vertical product, meaning it is only payments, whether you're paying for food or paying for groceries or payments lang ang PayMaya. Payments, only payments. No, whether you're wealthy or you're poor, it's just payments. No? So it's a vertical solution. Yung exercise natin kanina was an exercise in integrating horizontally. No, parang si Lumen, yun yung hypothetical name nung kasambahay. Si Lumen, di ba? From day one, pagpasok niya pa lang, isipin mo na, okay, how can we make things more seamless for her over time na horizontally integrated? O sige, yung sweldo niya baka via GCash na or BDO. And then yung pag-remit niya baka pwedeng via GCash na rin. No? So it's more touch points in Lumen's journey, but integrating them so that adoption becomes easier and more frictionless. And then yung transaction fees nagiging mas mababa ng mas mababa. No? So imagine nyo kung GCash yung pasweldo mo sa kanya, tapos yung anak niya na nagdi-disburse dun sa probinsya, GCash rin, then she just remits GCash to GCash. And then kung kunwari GCash na rin yung pang tuition ng anak niya, then GCash, yung ganyan-ganyan. No? Horizontal integration ang tawag doon. No? And for the lower income households, there is less horizontal integration. So they have to move from one solution to another. Pupunta pa sila sa 7-Eleven kasi wala silang BDO or ganyan-ganyan. No? Now I will share with you model of horizontally integrated um, financing, horizontally integrated financing in the agriculture sector. So hindi ito uh, financial inclusion per se, but you can imagine how financial inclusion solutions or ecosystem can facilitate all of this. Okay, so hold on. Share. And then share computer sound.
Connected. From the seed all the way to the seed investors who had a vision of what agriculture could be. Everything is connected. It's why Responsibility invests in companies with full agricultural value chain involvement. Because taking care of every step matters, from the quality of the product, to the value of the investment, to the prosperity of the farmers. Suminter India Organics is one such company involved in the entire value chain. Here's a peek at how they do it. First, farmers are recruited through local organizations and by Suminter's own field officers. They then complete a training and certification program in organic agriculture, while Suminter encourages the concept of zero-cost farming by providing seeds and training the farmers to use various biomanures, biopesticides, and composting methods. They also assist farmers with farming equipment such as automatic weeders, tilling machines, and solar panel systems. Then, once the farmers have completed the program, they have the option to sell their certified organic crops to Suminter for an organic premium or in the local markets at conventional prices. After the harvest, crops that require processing are sent to processing plants, where Suminter successfully runs its own state-of-the-art processing house dedicated to 100% organic processing. Suminter adheres to rigorous global organic standards by testing all products sourced from new producers and randomly testing products from existing suppliers. Suminter sells its 100% certified organic products to a marquee client base in the US and Europe. And because, remember, everything is connected, Suminter makes sure that when it receives extra profits on the market, it shares those profits with the farmers. Because sustainable investing means maintaining constant awareness that everything is connected.
Okay. So yun yung example ng horizontally horizontally integrated financial inclusion, no? Where there is better integration through more steps of the value chain, no? Whether you are a coffee grower in Batangas, no, from purchasing seeds to ganyan-ganyan, yun, no, yung pautang mo baka via GCash, dadalhin na lang yung seed sa inyo, no, baka integrated na yun sa doon sa local rural bank because he know the local rural bank already knows your credit history. So 'di ba? And then it's possible na kung kunwari contract growing yon all the way to Nestle, 'di ba? Nestle in partnership with Land Bank that they integrate something all the way to the purchasing of seeds hanggang sa purchasing of the coffee beans, the harvest. Then tapos may financial may financing through all of the steps. Then nagiging mas madali for the coffee farmer. Okay? So so given this image or this notion or concept of horizontally integrated financing solutions or financial inclusion solutions, ano yung nakikita niyong possible, how might you stimulate ideation in different teams, no? Given na kung kumare St. Louis, Baguio, upland yan, baka vegetable farmers. In fact, mandate yata ng SLU Baguio yung upland vegetable farmers based on their DOST prioritization. No? Silliman University is strong with the fisheries sector, so ganyan. How might you, so the question to you, no? How might you as facilitators help teams go deep into value chains at the local level, no, such that yung team members posibleng, di ba, no, ako kung kunwari estudyante ako sa St. Louis, Baguio, and then tamang-tama parents ko are vegetable farmers or my family members akong vegetable farmers. How might you as facilitators guide the team members to be able to access the knowledge on the value chains at the local level? Parang what kind of questions would you ask them? What kind of activities would you encourage them to do? What kind of contacts or possible interviewees should they reach out to if they wanted to ideate around a horizontally integrated financial inclusion solution? So question yan sa inyo.
Ulit sir, sorry, one more time.
Bilang facilitator, anong itatanong ninyo sa mga teams ninyo para maka-deep dive na sila sa isang value chain na local at kaya nilang mag-ideate na ng financial inclusion solution katapat ng value chain na yon? O kadikit ng value chain na yon? Or enabler ng value chain?
Na existing value chain.
Yeah, that is local to them.
Yeah.
So what kind of questions or activities would you encourage them to do bilang facilitator?
Siguro ask sir kung ano yung, parang I would have them consider like yung habits ng kanilang community. Parang, okay, if you're, okay, kunya yung sari-sari store dun sa baba, how does she collect money? How does she pay for stuff? Parang ganun. Parang, ano yung habits ng community and how can that be innovated or improved?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Others? Adriel?
Hello. I think for me, siguro as facilitator, maganda siguro to keep taking off dun sa video, maganda sigurong i-instill sa minds ng participants na yun nga, everything is connected and yung mga financial resources and services na we're going to make, the goal is to make it accessible sa mga communities is one of the many ways para ma-access ng communities na yun yung iba't ibang klase ng mga services. So para siyang when you're developing siguro a solution or an idea in mind, hindi lang siya dapat to make financial resources and services available or accessible. Pero siguro idugtong na doon kung ano pa yung klase ng services na ma-enable because of financial inclusion. So, for example, yung sa video, hindi lang siya being able to access yung financial services nga, pero at the same time, parang in the long run, it can help you in your livelihood, access to education. So, maraming kakabit yun. Parang enabler palalo yung access to financial resources and services.
Okay. Others? So if we were, inisip ko admittedly, yung even in the development sector, itong financial inclusion is not a very popular buzzword, no? Mas top of mind ng mga tao, gender, sustainable development, disaster risk reduction, no? Those are, yan, madami pa. The literacy of the population on those areas are higher. Yung financial inclusion, medyo subset na yan ng ng uh, ng discourse that is not very popular. So let me ask this question from you, no? So ang isang option rin is we can give them katapat nung 3-week course nila that they're doing ideation, we can offer an online asynchronous course just so that they can have, di ba, enough vocabulary to get into this, and then well-selected videos so that they say, okay, ganun pala yun. No? So parang optimize yung kanilang learning curve so that as they brainstorm, just like we try to get you on a 2-hour learning curve. No? Parang I wonder if this learning curve was effective in getting you quickly on good steep learning curve para after 120 minutes parang malalim-lalim na yung understanding ko. But do you have any thoughts on that? No, what if we offered in support of ideation an online course, asynchronous? It can be open. Wala nang login pero may lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3 lang na curated so that they can, as a team and as individuals, they can go deep quickly. Do you have any thoughts on that? So this would be different from the regular hackathon or ideation session na bahala kayo mag-isip ng kahit anong gusto nyong isipin. Ito mas narrow and then there will be clear boundaries, but we can take them on a predefined learning curve. Just so if they want to, then makikinabang sila from the learning materials that we have arranged for them. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Actually, Doc, this is aligned to the idea presented to us a while ago by Kevin. Yung information drive, your financial literacy campaign, parang aligned talaga siya. Pero kaso ito, we're more on helping them out in coming up with a prototype. Ganun po ba? Focusing
yes. Kasi ang gusto sana natin, we will have 30 teams na finalists na yun or semi-finalists that have good ideas, venture concepts. No? So we need to get them on a steep learning curve. No? Kasi kung hugot sa ere lang na inefficient, of course, open pa rin. No? They're free to ideate in any direction, but at least we can give them some well-selected videos so that mabilis nilang mapasukan tong problem space na to.
Yes.
Hello. So yes, I guess for siguro the entrep team then who will be receiving yung mga applications, if yung intention pa rin natin, hindi intention, sorry. If yung way of selecting our teams ulit is some kumbaga people who are experienced na when it comes to design thinking into the concept of financial inclusion. Okay na magkaroon nun, pero I think siguro learning from the last challenge, it should be optional.
Optional.
Pero kung yung mga sasali ng challenge natin ay new, as in entirely new at gusto mag-explore ng design thinking and financial inclusion, it would be very helpful. Pero ayun, problem lang siguro is how to manage yung speed. yung learning curve nga. Kumbaga, halimbawa yung mga kalaban nila sobrang well-versed na in financial inclusion or financing in general. So yung mga yung medyo bago-bago sa concept, kailangan pa nilang aralin yung mga concepts.
Yep, yep.
Ayun.
Others, do you have any suggestions? As facilitators, no? Kasi, yan, as facilitators, how do we help increase the quality of their designs and ideas? Knowing na, sige, yung design thinking methods, yan, kayang-kaya nyo na. No? Parang the techniques on design thinking, either their own incubators or you can guide them on that. But yes.
Yeah, I think for me, kasi especially in several conferences na I've been to previously, or parang workshops, they always have like canvases to work on. And I know you already sent one, which is yung persona canvas. Pero aside from a persona canvas, maybe it would be possible na for FIL to create a canvas or something that parang the participants could work on, so that at least streamlined yung parang yung thoughts nila, and it's also not all over the place and like what you said.
So parang
Kasi,
worksheets.
yeah, so kasi it gives structure in to how they should think. So yeah.
Okay, so basically the generic human-centered design tools, but we will select a subset and then we will direct it already na pang financial inclusion centric na yung tools na yon.
Yeah, but something like that. It's just a thought or idea.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure,
just to how many, so for their final submissions, on the average, how many slides do they, is it 10 slides? They boil things down to around 10 slides. Do you have, what's the rough estimate? Kasi what we can do is we can design the 10 slides na pang final presentation, and then we can put together another preceding 10 slides for their early ideation, parang canvas, di ba? So that it's all in one coherent slide deck na parang okay, as facilitators you say, oh, go to slide number 2 and then dump in there persona, the customer persona that you want to select, whether sari-sari store yan or di ba, upland vegetable farmer or taho vendor, ganyan. And then okay, slide 3 naman, so slide 3 now do the ganyan. But the question to you is, in the final presentation, in general, how many slides do the teams present, or what's the range? Just so that we know how distilled, how compact it has to be in its final form.
Noon, sir, sa last namin na Innovation Challenge, we did not limit the number of slides, but we did limit their time to present. So
how many minutes was that?
Each group had 10 minutes to present. So kanya-kanya na silang diskarte how to compress everything into 10 minutes.
Okay. So 10 minutes is roughly 10 slides if you go by one slide per minute. Okay.
Or maybe the question, Doc, is what slides are we looking at? Problem, solution, features, value proposition, those things.
Tama. So we can put together a slide deck so that maayos, built-in na yung build up, diba? From slide 1 to slide 2 to slide 3, from as they home in on the problem they want to address, they just use the next slide to just guide them forward, no? And that
Sure.
it's coherent all the way to the final 10 slides na halos yun na rin naman yung ipapang present nila sa final presentation.
Okay.
Yep. Yun. Any other suggestions as facilitators?
Ayun. So
Sige,
sa akin,
Kevin.
to add on to what was discussed, no, I agree with the template. I agree also with building up of the presentation. I agree also to open it to the ones na even those people who are new relatively to the field, no, kasi there will always be something new concepts to learn in the field, in the financial inclusion field. Second, I think regardless of knowledge or experience, no, we can let's say in the facilitation, important yung questions kasi the quality of questions will guide them in a way. Kasi ano yan eh, um, in any exercise of knowing, di ba? Parang questions can open up blind spots. So I think when we have, let's say, guide questions, it's also their guide of what is it that they will consider. Kasi we can say na in financial inclusion, parang prior to them joining the competition, no, they already have an idea what community will they want to work with. Okay, so we want to have this community to have access to this. Where do we go from here? So maybe, okay, so first question, what are the needs of community when it comes to their finances? What are their experiences when it comes to using, let's say, when they save? So once we have these questions, no, mas magiging it will be easier for the facilitators to spark that discussion. And I think even in that exercise, we can have that learning curve. Ano yan, it will be easier for the participants to learn. Yan. So yun yung naisip ko kasi I think even though we don't intentionally tell them, no, oh, this is financial inclusion. Maybe by asking those questions, they might already have these variables in place that will lead up to the model, the 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 model of their concept. Yan. So yan. Sorry, na-mute yata ako. Ayan, yung idea na nagbo-brew in the minds of their teams, no? Yes, we are teaching them financial inclusion in the learning session. We also have the mentorship. We also have the facilitation. But the key to effective facilitation is asking the right questions, perhaps, no? So that, yun nga, ma-consider nila yon, and then they will conduct their self-research. And then at least when they come to a capacity building activity or let's say mentoring or a learning session, okay, may baon na kami na this is the information that we know and this is how we will reconcile it to strengthen our proposal. Yan.
Okay. Sige, question. So itong financial inclusion, so even us at the Financial Inclusion Lab, it's the first time we're doing this for financial inclusion. No, although we've been involved in other incubators in other spaces, itong incubating and ideation for financial inclusion, this is the first iteration. And we, this session is a facilitator's orientation. So now, our objective was to give you a better view, a better sense of what financial inclusion is, so that you can facilitate ideation. No? But we are working with incubators, diba? Around a dozen incubators all over the country, and the local incubator managers ideally are also equipped somehow para hindi naman sila nganga. O, sige, mag-attend kayo dyan kasi ako wala akong kaalam-alam sa financial inclusion eh. So parang it also develops their capacity at the local level, at the incubator, if they are, di ba, somewhat equipped to have conversation and encourage teams on financial inclusion. No? So question is, so we've been at this for 90 minutes. How are we doing so far in terms of putting together a 90-minute learning session for you as facilitators? And what suggestions would you have if we were to offer this to the incubators, local incubators, so that hindi naman sila nga, no? If they're more, the assumption there is if they're a little more knowledgeable about financial inclusion, then they can be more proactive in encouraging teams and say, oh hindi, magtawag ka, di ba yung itong kaklase niyo, anak yan ng vegetable trader. Isama niyo siya sa team kasi mahalaga yung team niya, no? Yung so and how how did we do so far in the first 90 minutes, and what suggestions we have for facilitators training for the incubator managers? So for those who are interested, how might we improve this, or how might we improve on the design of this facilitators training? Yes, Ariana.
I was just gonna say, baka kaya pang, I was gonna say baka kaya pa to take it down, I guess, more to their level, if that
What do you
makes
mean?
sense.
Masyado bang abstract?
No, but I think kami, or maybe I'm just speaking for myself, I don't know, but like I think sa amin kasi mas familiar kami with that space, I guess, or with the thought of all of these things, with kasi mas central, diba? Mas central kasi yung Manila eh. So but like in the incubators in the other provinces, these are, I'm assuming these are all the TBIs. A lot of them are still kind of figuring out technology as they go. So parang, and a lot of them are still figuring it out. So I think the language, although important, but I think the language can still be maybe a little bit more simplified, or
okay.
more taken down to their level. Na parang tulad ng ginawa niyong activity, sir, na yun nga, may kasambahay, ganyan. I think that would be more effective rather than parang talking about it in theory. Parang to give example.
The framework part
just
was okay.
Opo. Parang just to give parang I think it's better to give them examples in ways that they, or like analogies na more relevant to them.
Okay.
That's
Thanks. Others? Suggestions? Well, did it work for you? And I think tama si Ariana in pointing out na parang in a sense, incubator black belters na kayo eh, no? You've been doing this for a long time and more intensely from Manila. And our TBIs, many of them baka white belters or yellow belters pa lang, so they are novices in this incubator thing, so we will need to simplify it so that it's not too abstract for them. But yeah, for you, how did it work? And for others, kasi some naman, diba, there are in the universities there are professors, no, who teach economics, finance, so they might be clueless about incubation, but they are experts naman in finance or economics or agri-finance naman. So baka, the orienting them for the financial inclusion lab might be different. But, do you have any thoughts on that?
Ayun. So, sige, from my experience, no, saan ba? Naalala ko si LSU eh. I mean, when
Central Luzon State
University, no. So I'm thinking kasi doon very agri, kasi doon I used to go there before. Nagkaroon ng workshop once. And I remember na yun nga, it's more of contextualization kasi our perspective is okay, pinahalagahan natin, let's say for us, no, we can say Imperial Manila, quote unquote. I mean, we can say pinahalagahan natin, okay, for some it's investment, for those very mature ones, no, in the financial in using financial instruments. Pero for most, yung GCash, etc. Pero sila naman, the first thing that they might prioritize might be Um, yun nga, for the farmers especially, no, kunwari, paano may ma-manage yung ang pera nila na nakukuha nila mula sa kanilang mga, yun nga, yung mga kinikita nila. So, not much of the, parang savings, yes, kailangan, pero mas kailangan nila, no, unang pumapasok sa isip nila, yun, yung pag-manage ng nakukuha nilang pera for their business. So, nakadepende sa ano eh, sa prioritization, given all these instruments, no, what is their priority at the moment, and then yun nga, yung simplified language is very important na yun. So yun yung naisip ko kasi for those na may agri background, baka yun nga, priority nila is really, let's say yung payments. Yan. So, there, no. Kasi siguro in terms of savings, mas sanay sila dun sa savings na bangko mismo. Pero baka ang una nilang inisip, ay, mas kailangan namin to for, let's say, for payment. So, yun, iniisip ko. It's really a matter of not just simplifying the language, one. Number two is contextualizing knowledge. Yun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, so let me just, so basically, we're working with the TBI people, TBI managers, TBI teams. So they already know the human-centered design thinking, song and dance, no? But financial inclusion needs to draw from knowledge from one, the financing, so either business or econ, faculty mga yun, and then from whatever value chains are dominant in their area. So kunwari Baguio, di tourism siguro yan, no? Or upland farming, so agriculture, no? Kung Bohol, tourism, kung Cebu, baka may tech, di ba? Kung sa Manila, may urban poor and the informal sector. So we will need expertise from other parts of the university to inject knowledge kung kaya pa, no? So that the knowledge from their disciplines become an input to the ideation. But, just as Kevin pointed out, it's not, hindi pwedeng textbook knowledge lang, no? The textbook knowledge is important. Kung kunwari, business finance is important if they're going to design a solution for, say, micro enterprises, no? But kailangan na translate rin to sari-sari store level understanding, no? Hindi pwedeng textbook lang na parang abstract pa masyado yung textbook. Kailangan mas practical and contextualized to, say, di ba, rice farmers in Nueva Ecija. So parang yun yung that's what my take from yung suggestion ni Kevin. Tama ba? And do you have
Yes.
others? How do you feel about this? No, so this is not quite the regular ideation workshop na maglabas lang ng post-its and then ganyan-ganyan. No? Parang this space seems more context sensitive and also more knowledge intensive. Parang mahirap kung totally clueless ka sa, kunwari, if you want to develop financial inclusion solutions for rice farmers and you're totally clueless about the value chain of rice farmers, then parang handicap na yun. Parang ganun ba mangyayari kung wala silang deep enough context knowledge? Yeah. Okay, well, um, sige, question naman sa inyo, no? Knowing na in a sense black belters na kayo and we had designed this for you specifically. Alam namin na field dev and then seasoned and then field dev is like the uh, big brother or big sister ng other TBIs. How was this facilitators training for you? Knowing na iba yung level ninyo sa TBI managers sa provinces. Did it work for you? How was the methodology? And was there enough of the frameworks and technical, or was it manipis pa masyado, or what? Because we are interested in doing this in other countries and we would like to reach out to the field dev of Bangladesh and field dev of, di ba, yung counterpart ninyong tumututok sa local incubator. So basically, prototype rin ito in equipping country level head of network, TBI networks team. So do you have any advice on how to improve this given na kayo, profile nyo yung target? Oriana?
Ay. um, um, I think sir, kaya pa, I guess, kaya pa, I think, to have, more activities as such as me. I don't know. Like more, I
Activities?
guess, yeah, or like interactive, parang to workshop it a little bit further.
More workshop
Yeah.
sessions. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I agree with Ariana as well. With the making it a bit more workshop style.
Okay.
So I feel like since you mentioned earlier about like sticky notes and whatever, so there's also like a virtual way of doing the whole sticky note design thinking process. So like there are other platforms that you can also check out, like Mural or Miro. So these are platforms where like parang may mga templates na or canvases that you could use, and then parang you can interact with so many other people by like just giving them the link. Tapos doon,
Yep.
pwede sila mag-add ng mga sticky notes and whatever. Para doon sila pwede mag-share. So for example, in one of the recent workshops or brown bag sessions, I know, parang design sprint
Yung
siya.
design sprint, yeah.
So parang there were like 4 questions or 5 questions. And then what we had to do, or some of the participants had to do, is to put sticky notes and then write their answers there on like what their expectations were, and then parang insights or ideas on what they already knew about the topic that you were talking about. So parang something like that. Para yun. Yeah, so para it's also more interactive, and
Right.
then maybe kasi to be honest,
Sure. Yes,
I
please.
don't know much about financial inclusion. That's why I was also excited to learn. Pero I learned a lot, and I also like the activity that you did earlier. Maybe more facilitation in that part, so that like people like me would be able to understand other some of the terms, or parang what the goal is, or what you want to achieve, or how to facilitate the participants. So yeah, parang ganun. Yeah.
Okay.
Yun lang.
Good. Thanks. So yeah, I have attended an ideation session or workshop using Mural, and then nakita ko nga very
Opo.
useful yon. So
Yeah.
does field dev have, I mean, one scenario is that we get a Mural account and make it available to the teams, no? And then ilalagay na doon yung template so that they fill it out on Mural rather than on, sabagay, pwede rin naman Google Slides, di ba? But anyway, but what do you think of that?
Yes.
Kasi I did attend a workshop like that. There were 4 groups and then basically 4 separate mural sheets, worksheets per group.
Opo.
Nasubukan niyo na ba yan for many groups? Like, yung a high volume of groups? Do you have experience on that, and do you recommend that?
Yung sa design sprint, sir, yung ginamit she did was, yun nga, meron siyang set of templates per group. Pero yung mga templates per group nasa isang malaking frame lang. So, everybody was supposed to be there. Para ang advantage nun, sir, if we are going to process it na in class, mas madaling yung mapa-flash, mas madaling makikita. Pag sa separate kasi, yung pang they have to screen share, yun. Yun yung magiging difference.
Okay. Okay. Sige, so use of technology and more workshops, fine. Okay, tama, okay. Itong usefulness of putting the incubator managers through a similar 2-hour session, may value ba yan, palagay niyo?
Sa akin, sir, meron. Kasi, I think, sabi nyo nga po, parang financial inclusion per se is something, you know what the definition is. Pero going into this workshop, it can help them also like experience yung mismong pagdadaanan din ng mga tuturuan ng mga TBI in the future. So they also know how to like handle yung mga difficulties in like we're doing the workshops and like identifying like possible questions that might come up based on their experience. And yun nga din sir, halimbawa, since same TBI and then halimbawa, na regional TBIs, parang ganon. Parang magiging mas contextualized na yung activity nila na parang it could also be like a way for them to see, we have common problems. Ito specific lang sa atin. So, how can we customize this in our training?
Okay. So sige, it is 4:50. How do you want to spend the last 10 minutes? Well, admittedly, we want, to us, this is a prototype, and then we wanted to co-design version 2 with you. That's why we took the time to probe, ask for your advice on and feedback on this session. But we have 10 minutes left. So, do you have any? How do you want to spend the last 10 minutes? Or let me run this by you pala before ano. So, naintindihan namin na basically parang 3-week design sprint ito. No? But we do want the Financial Inclusion Lab to evolve semester-long courses so that students may opt to take this as an elective kung payagan sila, no? Whether NSTP, CWTS ito or thesis nila. So we're hoping that we arrive at some point where they say, "Ma'am, pwede bang yung thesis research ko, i-enroll ko na lang sa Financial Inclusion Lab because I plan to do this as a thesis." No? And then we're hoping that in that scenario, kung kunwari si Liman yun, they say, sige, si Professor Santos ng Econ Department yung one of the advisors of our Financial Inclusion Lab at Siliman. No? And he's been doing work for the past several semesters with them, specifically for fisher folk. No? Puntahan mo siya dahil lumalim na yung Financial Inclusion Lab na doon. So, do you have any, ano yung reactions nyo to that preferred future of the Financial Inclusion Lab, because we do want to journey with PhilDev and the incubators. So what are your thoughts on that preferred future scenario? And Kevin, sorry, you were about to say something.
Ay, wala. Actually, na-on ko lang yung mic. Well, right now, we are consulting currently with our well, ngayon kasi nasa phase kami na we're developing projects. And I think it is a direction that we can actually endorse with tech hubs, no? Kasi yun nga, with this innovation challenge, no, the focus is really startup generation and eventually, no, in the future, incubation. But when it comes to yun nga, inviting the students to participate, I think it's fine. I mean, the students to participate in the other courses kasi maybe other than being a participant of the competition or of the challenge, no, this can add on to that. So siguro ano lang, ang perspective lang namin is we hope na mabigyan nila ng oras yung, let's say, when they commit to attend these other courses, yon. Kasi siguro right now, no, if we will bring it to the level of, let's say, a possible partnership with an incubator that can send their students to maybe yun yung next step natin. I think yun yung subject to discuss with our executive director, with our board, na if we make it more official, no, yung ganung yung partnership to engage further our incubators in terms of the courses. Pero ngayon, actually, even within the challenge, no, we can already invite them. Yun yung naisip ko na it can be a supplemental knowledge din sa kanila. Yon. Para we're not just kung ano pa sila, masabi natin they have more time, no, na they want to learn more about financial inclusion. Yan. So maybe yon, mag-offer ng other courses, no. So yun yung inisip namin right now. Pero as far as yun nga, the longer term engagement, yon, maybe we will have a meeting with our executive director and the board to conceptualize yung magiging possible project, no, with incubators. Yun.
Sige, so naalala ko I had 2 more slides pala. So it corresponds to this future scenario. So nakita namin that the financial inclusion lab we also want the financial inclusion lab to be to accelerate innovations in existing companies, no? So itong picture na to sa AIM to, and then ito si Prof. Tito Sortigas, and we're workshopping one company that's trying to do innovations, financial innovations actually, no, in agroforestry. So they went to AIM, and we're having this innovation conversation, no. So there's a category called corporate social innovation, and ito yung parang spaces for corporate social innovation. Merong mga internal value chain enhancement, no? It's processes that say land bank is already doing, or say Coop is already doing, but they want to innovate on it so that their internal processes are improved or more technology enabled. Tapos pwede rin external processes, no, na it becomes part of their corporate social relations, but actually it becomes pag higher value, it is co-creating with the stakeholders, no. Say ang example niyan could be Nestle partnering with farmers in Batangas, so that between Nestle and the farmers, there's more value created that they share with each other, no. So and we feel that ito medyo advanced na sa AIM, parang nasasakyan ng AIM, and we understand that many other universities are more conservative and less entrepreneurial, no. But yun, no, yung nakita namin na over time, we're hoping that the Financial Inclusion Lab is not just pang estudyante at pang university, no, but it is hosted in the university, but the university becomes an innovation hub for the stakeholders around it, no, so that the provincial governor or the local co-op goes to the TBI and engages the TBI to co-design solutions for their business, no.
Yes. Yan din yung actually that's where we're also building up towards integration with private sector in the perspective of market solution. So yun yung medyo we're still on their way there, pero maybe once na magkaroon tayo, let's say after the innovation challenge, no, let's have a meeting, and then with the ED and the board, no, we can conceptualize what further programs that we can do, no, Yes, I mean, I think it is something that goes beyond capacity building. It really, well, there's a capacity building component, but it entails a lot of systemic, ano siya, yeah, medyo systemic ano na siya, multi-stakeholder engagement. Yan. So medyo ano na, more not just cap build, no, mas ano na, yung prototyping, parang incubating with incubators. Incubating the
Right,
relationship.
right.
Yes.
Or incubating the ecosystem.
Ecosystem, yes.
Yep.
Yan.
Yep.
Ano yan, may magkakaroon pa ng stakeholder analysis, etc. Really assessing the environment in their respective municipalities, cities.
Yes.
Kasi kunwari, just imagine, no, St. Louis University, malapit siya sa Cagayan. What if we're talking about developing flood prevention mitigation systems for Cagayan, in Cagayan Valley, developed by universities? So si Governor of Isabela, co-consult sa universities, then co-creation sila ng solutions. Then, so yan, yun yung mga aspirations. We hope na, yun, may ganong klaseng, kasi it's urgent right now, di ba? I mean, right now, we are looking for solutions. Yun. So siguro, real talk na majority of the ones developing solutions is JICA, all these foreign funders and entities, no? Pero what if we tap the local talent to develop the research? Anyway, yun lang. Wala lang, just sharing.
Yep. Sige, so well, basically, on that note, that wraps up the facilitators training. It's 3 weeks. So naisip ko, if you want more, or diba, this is the first, and we can assemble a little learning session along the way pag palalim na. Kinakapa rin naman namin to no? So this is emerging as we understand the questions that come in. We can respond more adaptively, no? And work on these facilitators training with you in iterations. Yon. So maybe thank you very much, and then maybe Kevin can give some closing remarks before we end.
Ay, sorry, ano pa pala.
Hello.
Si Sam pala, may gusto pang i-raise.
Sige, Sam.
Sige, sir. Actually, sir, since nandito na tayong lahat, we were wondering if we can turn this facilitators training into a team training para dun sa, team meeting rather, para dun sa ating innovation challenge. Dahil there are some new developments that are coming in. And ang unang-una po is supposedly this today is our this week is the last week of our registration, and we are largely banking on the university's promotion endorsement of our innovation challenge. But we just learned today that most of the universities are on academic break dahil academic break, sir, dahil po dun sa bagyo. So yeah, so they are they are giving time for the teachers and the students
to recover,
to recover. And also yung aming mga networks, our youth networks are also busy with the storm recovery.
Relief,
So, ayun. We are thinking of extending our registration until next week para lang to give time for us, for our partners to have time for us as well. And ang magiging po nun is we'll have to extend our innovation challenge to mid-December. So aabutin, Kevin and I were thinking ang magiging final pitch po natin is on November 15.
Ay,
December pala. December 15. Kasi if we push pa further, ang kalaban naman po natin ay si Santa Claus at si Jesus Christ. Dahil Paskong-Pasko na po yun. Ayun.
Well, nisip ko, now, yan, o nga, no? Feeling ko, yung recovery period, kasi windang pa yung mga tao, and then emotionally troubled, and then relief, feeling ko, yung the period that they need is around 2 weeks at least, no? Until they get back to normal. Kasi parang, yun nga, I'm reaching out to friends and they're still trying to get mud out of their houses. Ganyan. Yan, no? Pero naintindihan ko rin na if we pushed it back a full 2 weeks, then basically January na dapat ang pag-usapan na natin.
Ayun, sir. So,
I don't know naman kung may constraints kayo kung umabot pa ng January or it is more practical adjustment. Kayo ba?
Yeah, kasi siguro yun, since na-promote na and all, so yun, we're thinking of, pero anyway, it's not regardless of promotion, I mean, it's sige, siguro we want to have milestones, to pit stops to assess how many will still apply. Kasi yung medyo direction is parang inisip nga namin ni Adriel na gano'n, message kami na paano natin mai-angle yung promotion in such a way na it's empathic with the situation. So ako, in my feeble attempt to make it like that, so parang nilagay ko sa aking sharing na there's this contextualizing it na people need all the more financial inclusion services. Yeah, so parang
tama. Mahalaga yung financial inclusion sa relief phase of a disaster. And then recovery, no? And then recovery, sige. Ngayon na may relief goods na sa kanila, how do we help them recover? No, yung negosyo nila, ganyan, no? It's more complex, but it's real, and that's financial inclusion, di ba? And then how can we help them recover so that they become less vulnerable? Their, di ba, risks are reduced. So adding this layer of DRR, actually expertise yan ni Alvin. Alvin, maybe you can give a 2-minute summary of the intersection of financial inclusion and disaster response. Oh, I know I'm putting you on the spot, pero feel mo ba yan, Alvin?
Sorry, ulit, Doc.
A 2-minute summary of the intersection of financial inclusion and disaster response and preparedness, DRR.
All right.
2 minutes lang, no? Para medyo pahabol lang, but
in our engagement with European Union through the Move Up project, this is actually a urban resilience and a disaster risk reduction management project by a consortium of international humanitarian NGOs in the Philippines, focusing on strengthening resilience. So one of the components really is microfinance or risk financing, yung providing access to vulnerable communities, urban vulnerable communities, on risk transfer mechanism, which basically boils down to microfinance. Kasi yun na yung mayroong tawag nito, regulatory framework sa from Insurance Commission. Okay, so nakita po ng study ng European Union saka ng Move Up na napakahalaga po ng microfinance access at yung simplicity nito.
You mean microinsurance, tama ba?
Yep.
Microinsurance.
Microinsurance po.
Okay.
Na mayroong iba't ibang formats, like for example, calamity insurance para sa mga livelihood, yung mga livelihood assets po nila, at saka yung education insurance para po sa mga dependents ng owners ng mga micro and small enterprises. In a nutshell po, isa sa mga resilient capacity for a micro and small enterprise ay magkaroon ng protection from these existing resilience products or risk transfer mechanisms na meron na pong regulatory framework. So hindi na po sila madaling mabola po ng mga kung sino-sino nagbibigay ng mga products na ito. So yun, as part of resiliency mechanism talaga ay isa sa mga gustong i-push ng ating government katulad po ng DSWD through the Sustainable Livelihood Program ay i-embed dun sa project na yun, program na yun, yung pag-introduce o pag-promote ng risk transfer mechanism katulad po ng microfinance products. Pero hindi po mismo ang gobyerno ang magpa-finance nito, kundi magkakaroon lang po ng mga enabling provisions sa mga guidelines, existing guidelines. So, ang isa pa sa mga agencies po na parang na-appreciate itong initiative ay ang DOLE through the TUPAD program. Kumbaga, dun sa mga gusto nilang, dun sa mga livelihood associations, ay ini-encourage na rin po ang magkaroon ng protection sa mga livelihood assets. So, yun. That's my 2-minute insight on financial inclusion as an instrument for disaster resilience or disaster recovery po.
Okay, thanks. So anyway, there is that intersection, although mas complex na yun, pero pwede natin i-angulo na financial inclusion and resilience or something, no? And then we can have talks on resilience para hindi na to maulit or something like that. We can pivot slightly so that we speak to what we're going through as a country ngayon, if you want. And then yung kami naman, we're in touch with guys like Alvin who can expound on this sa mga brown bag sessions natin. Back to you, Kevin, or Sam and Sam.
Sige po. Actually, sir. Ayun lang po yung yung concern namin. But although I'd like to also I'd like you to look at, sir, kasi kanina we were talking about yung gusto nyo mga videos na pwedeng to help our participants learn more about financial inclusion. And siguro dahil lalagyan natin ng it depends, Kevin. Kung lalagyan natin ng twist sa to resiliency, disaster resiliency. Yan. So, may mga nagtatanong po, phone-in questions. If, would it be value-adding for us to reframe our initial how might we question into more focus sa disaster resiliency, or do we maintain yung how might we improve access to financial inclusion for the underserved communities? Kasi yun po yung original, but given now, will it be more value-adding for us or advantageous to us to reframe that question? Ayun yung una kong tanong. Yeah.
I think that's a good question. Maybe we can ask for yung inputs from your teammates on that, responses to that question. I mean, teammates from Field Dev.
Pwede bang idadagdag, Sam, as in dalawang questions na siya?
Ay, hindi. Yun na yung magiging overarching natin na question. Na instead of, kasi diba dati, the goal is free for all yung financial inclusion natin. It could be farmer, it could be rural poor, urban poor, it could be fisher folk. Pero pwede ba or is it advantageous for us to reframe it only to yun nga, parang maging mas focus siya on disaster resiliency. But also taking on the personas of those people, of those stakeholders.
Natatakot lang ako na masyado na siyang narrow. But that's just me. I mean, there's a lot to do, but also kasi baka matakot yung mga students to join if it's very specific. Pero I don't know.
Or magmumukha ba tayong parang shock doctrine? Are you familiar with that? Yeah, we're taking advantage of the shocks.
Right.
Well, nisip ko, based from the disaster response cycle perspective, we are now in relief and recovery phase. No? And many people experience financial shock. They lost assets, and then there will be an outpouring of assets, largely dole outs to them. No? And then as they rebuild their lives, they will want to recover their assets or rebuild their assets, and hopefully, many of them will still choose to reside in Cagayan kasi yun yung family nila, yun yung home nila, yun yung memories nila, yun yung, di ba, lupain na pagmamay-ari ng namana nila. But they will need to manage their risk or transfer their risks, just like Alvin said. So actually, yung if ang mangyayari, just by watching the news every day for the next several weeks, data gathering na yun ng teams. Parang design, financial inclusion dash recovery solution for rice farmers in Cagayan. Diba? Then you just watch the news, mahagip mo na yung a lot of data points. And I think it also invites our participants to be, rather than passive viewers from afar, kung kunwari nasa Davao ka naman, di naman na no? They become protagonists through their design work. Meaning, I will contribute to this long-term problem by working on this project dito sa ideation with PhilDev. I think at the narrative level, yun yung parang engagement. And I don't think parang prino-prostitute natin yung situation. I think it is nation building. No? It helps people respond to the disaster beyond dole outs. Now, sige, di ba, mag clothes drive, food drive, fundraising drive, that's one. Pero to us, design thinking is a response to a disaster. No, parang how, di ba? How can we design solutions so that this will not happen again? I think tamang frame 'yon. And it is not mean-spirited naman. It's not opportunistic in a malicious way naman. So para sa akin, okay 'yon, no? Mas complex, but that's the complexity that we are in naman talaga eh.
Yeah.
So, and it can be an additional track. It does not need to supersede our current track. Pwedeng, di ba? Track 2.
Sige, pwede din naman, sir, now, what I'm thinking is, pwede naman na hindi na natin palitan yung overall question natin. But in the videos, in the stakeholder videos that you can provide to the challenge, one of which could be on disaster resiliency. Na instead of we're like focusing on farmer groups or fintech service providers, pwede din tayo magdagdag ng isang video or on disaster resiliency and how financial inclusion can help in recovery. Ayun. Kevin?
Sounds good.
I think, hello, Doc.
Sige, Sir Alvin, go ahead.
Yep, I think using the financial inclusion as our overarching theme, tingin ko lang na it's a way to go. Tama po kayo, a matter of putting up another recommended innovation features na lang instead of having this, ayun, meron tayong mga nasa bullet points, no? May people-centered tayo, user-friendly. Maybe another bullet point would be um, revolving around disaster resilience. No? Kasi let's not be tempted to this idea na um, microfinance lang po, micro insurance lang po ang para sa disaster resilience. Savings as well could be considered as a resilience mechanism. Yung payment systems, yung user-friendly at saka napaka-accessible na payment systems po ay considered as resilient capacity or resilient mechanism for the vulnerable population. So meaning tama po tayo dun sa track at lalo na po yung hinighlight kanina ni Doc Elmer na financial inclusion is actually a way to recover or to be resilient in any emergency or shock or disaster na na yung mga occurrences na to. So a matter na lang I think kung kasi tinitingnan ko po yung ating website or page. I think di na po ni Saring mag-focus talaga dun sa disaster resilient lang siya. The idea of having an underserved sectors, yung meron na po tayong phrase dito na underserved sectors. Actually, ang mga underserved naman po ay yung mga hindi nakakapag-recover from disasters eh. Yung mga hindi resilient, yung hindi underserved, yun din po yung mga underserved. So, ano lang to, kumbaga let's not use these technical terms loosely kasi may mga may mga repercussions or implications later on. Lalo na po na mayroon tayong direction for incubation after this initiative. Sa pagkakaintindi ko po, isa sa mga premyo nito ay magkaroon ng opportunity ang mga innovative ideas na ma-incubate. So, sa bigger incubation ecosystem, they're following those standards po na kung saan ay they're more looking at international best practices and best principles. So if we are intending to use yung mga context-based tools, napakaganda po yun. Pero pag napunta na po sa bigger incubation or accelerator ecosystem ang ating mga participants, baka po maano sila, ma-confuse. Na?
Sige po. Okay, sir. Well noted, Sir Alvin.
Thank you po.
Thank you po. Sige, sir. So, please don't, nakikita niyo po ba yung Excel sheet, yung operations manual? Don't mind po muna yung dates because I will be making the necessary changes dahil doon po sa extension natin. But I'd like to to confirm lang sir yung mga activities under FIL. Kasi previously we talked about that you will be posting yung mga videos from stakeholder videos. Or you will be posting yung stakeholder videos for the week 1 as a way for the participants to be to know more about yung situation, the problem, the stakeholders. Ayan. So, are we pursuing po itong videos na ito? Or are we doing another activity?
Well, inisip ko yes, no. Yeah, I'm thinking na what we can do is organize online open on a web page, open web page, a series of videos so that they can more systematically learn their way forward, no? Na may pagkalinear. And it will be a combination, just like the playlist I shared with you. Um, it will be a combination of local and international YouTubes that speak to this topic. And then we have also lined up a series of panelists or resource persons who are willing to discuss, share their findings and thoughts. They're experts in different spaces in financial inclusion. So go pa rin yan. But
Okay.
if I understood our conversation right, what we can do is we will be producing these videos as interviews um, at the convenience of the panelists, and then we can be releasing them.
On week 1, sir.
Yes, kunwari one video per week na may fresh interviews.
Kasi sir, ano po, if one video per week lang, dalawa lang po yun.
No. One video per day pala.
Okay.
One video per day.
Okay. Sige po. And sige sir, tama po yun. So we will do that. And our effort naman po to like facilitate yung thought process ng participants is we will be setting up po yung parang Miro or Jamboard. Now we will be asking them about their insights regarding the video of your panelists, and which Kevin will be facilitating yung kanilang how might we question on the first Friday of the challenge para to help them frame yung kanilang innovation. And I was thinking, sir, kung kung gagawa po kayo ng parang worksheet or parang templates for the participants, I think it would be also good na isunod din po dito sa sa challenge activities or sa challenge schedule at least.
Yung linear,
para pagdating po,
yung linear sequence, di ba?
Yes po, opo. Para pagdating po ng week 1, they have the question already. And then yung week 2 po kasi, we were talking about that it will be focused on the mentoring. So, since they have the question, so we are assuming na the participants are already developing their initial innovation ideas. They can consult with the mentors already. Ayun po. So, second week, pwede po yung mga worksheets na gagawin ninyo is more on paano yung direction ng kanilang innovation development.
Alas 8. Thank you.
Ayun.
Sorry.
Sige, Sir Alvin. Yes po.
Saan po ipopost natin to? Do we have an open site?
We will be making po a closed Facebook group, Facebook page. Ano man tawag doon?
Okay.
Bella. Facebook group.
Facebook group, yeah. Private Facebook group.
Feeling ko tuloy 18 years old na ako.
Ayun. Facebook group.
We will make a
pwede
closed
maging
Facebook
private ang
group.
Facebook page.
Yun. Facebook group. Doon po yung mismo parang main communication channel, and we will be posting din yung mga doon po natin ipopost yung videos natin and yung other links.
Mga videos at mga pubmats, no?
Apa.
Okay.
So, pwede din sir na halimbawa, yung video nyo, yung mga stakeholder, yung interview videos ninyo, pwede nyo, kasi magbibigay kami ng link into to the insight board. Pwede nyo rin pong ibigay yung link dun sa web page po ninyo for more information.
Sure. Sige po.
Yun sir. Next question sir is, how about sir yung consultation for with the financial inclusion experts? Is this still a go? Parang we're going to have a parang live session na pwede na magtanong yung mga participants.
Nasaan ang date tayo?
This is on the second week, sir. December 2.
Okay.
Yeah, December 2. Here. Ayan po. Or pwede naman din sir na magbigay na lang po kayo ng name of the experts na pwede silang maging part ng mentors, pero we will facilitate yung scheduling. Parang halimbawa, you can have like 3 experts and then we'll set like 2 hours per day for them to meet the participants for 30 minutes each. Pwede pong ganun.
Do we have a copy of this, Doc Elmer?
I can share it sa inyo, sir. Apa.
Okay,
Ano po
sige.
nga email address nila, Sir Alvin? I think hindi pa po kayo
Paki-chat mo na lang, Alvin.
I'll type it here po, dito sa chat box.
Okay pa.
Sige. Yeah. Ganito, for the mentors, we can tap them, but scheduling, especially with the disaster, we have to get back to them kasi parang na-disrupt yung schedules ng mga madami mga tao no?
Yes po.
But one scenario is that ipunin natin yung questions in advance and then we get the experts to respond to these questions, but not real time. No? Meaning it could be just one-on-one na parang ini-interview ng one of us, yung experts just throwing to them the questions. So it will not be interactive. I think that might be more feasible for those na mas mahirap mahagilap in terms of scheduling. But we'll try to get mentors who can accommodate this type of yung team-centric consultation sessions.
We already have mentors, Doc.
Oh nga eh. Actually, inisip ko nga, we have mentors. So scheduling na no? But we'll try to swing that.
Yep.
We will try to swing that. Pero yung plan B nga is ipunin yung questions and then we have them answer na recorded.
Sige po. Sige sir. Ako po kasi sir, sige sir, okay na po ako doon. Doon sa mentors and doon sa plan B na will pull questions. Ano na lang, sige, as facilitators, when we check in with our groups, we can already ask them para ma-send namin dun sa expert natin. Next question, sir. Kasi one of the things that our participants from the previous Innovation Challenge loved about the challenge itself is very interactive siya. So, medyo, tayo ngayon, sir? Video focused. So, is it possible for us to have let's have one live session with FIL again to talk about something? Siguro sir, yung we can talk about na din dito yung disaster resilience or or
big group with all of the participants?
Yes po, opo. Para ma-feel naman nila na this is a live innovation challenge. Kasi most of our inputs magiging videos siya. So at least meron tayong mga points in the innovation challenge wherein we meet them live.
Yes. So let me clarify, no? So at some point, pag we're shooting for 30 teams, and then i-assume na natin na 5 team members per team, so that would be around 150. And they'll be put in the private group, and then there'll be synchronous and asynchronous activities. But yes, no, we want them to experience as if 100 people in one big group, and then we have breakout sessions, and then they meet people from other provinces, and then they're just ganyan, no? Yung vibe na ganon. We'd like to do that as well. And then, feeling ko the expert input in that big Zoom event, the experts, di ba, we can have experts give a series of, say, tatlong tag 15 minutes, so 45 minutes yon, and then the rest of the time could be more networking so that they just feel like they feel the socializing aspect of this experience. Tama ba?
Um, Not necessarily na sir yung networking, but but a point wherein they can get answers quickly regarding their questions. Kasi yung socializing sir, sa opening naman, we
Meron
will
na.
do that per facilitator magla-live kami na parang getting to know you and then
Okay.
initial discussions yon. Pero what I meant here is yung parang at least some points in the innovation challenge, they can interact with us live na
Yeah.
nakikita nila tayo. Ayun.
Yeah. Alvin, kaya naman natin yun di ba? Between you and me, kung separate session
Yes po.
tayo, and then we can mobilize 3 more people, 3 more individuals, and they can be one expert per session so that we can have a total of 5 sessions. Parang madali-dali yun, di ba, Alvin?
Yes, I think we still have time to
Okay.
block
Yeah.
all the calendars of our experts.
And
In
then,
fact, Jerome is just waiting for a go signal for.
sige. And then we just scope out yung talk nila, and then it will be in a way a public event. They will deliver a 20-minute presentation and then Q&A. Tama ba, Sam? And then the next event, gano'n na naman.
Mm-mm. Opo, sir. Or kahit hindi sir marami kahit hindi ganun po ka-extensive yung kasi we only have 2 weeks. So parang pwedeng isa
2 per
on the
week.
second week, pwedeng 2 per week or 1 per week.
Okay.
Ayun po. Ganito na lang sir, para I will edit this.
Okay.
I will edit this operations manual. And
Okay.
then, para ma-feel po natin yung dami ng activities per week. And then, doon po natin isipan ng parang tamang intervention.
Kung mag-a-adjust ba o hindi.
Okay. Opo. I-adjust ko lang to sir kasi sisikip siya ng konti.
Yes po.
Opo. Kasi
Pwede po bang palagay ng okay lang po ba na malagyan din kung sino yung responsible organization or institution?
Sige sir, lagyan ko na lang po dito ng extra
kapag-focus tayo dun sa preparations.
Opo. Sige. Ayun lang naman po sa akin. Kevin, do you have more questions or things to discuss?
Sige, Sir Alvin.
May mga registrations na po ba?
Right now, sir, isang matapang na grupo pa lang.
Okay.
We have one brave group with 3 members.
Okay. Kahapon, after our Fireside session yesterday, may nag-chat sa akin via Messenger. Taga Philippine Aeronautics Institute. Tapos gusto niya daw mag-join. Ang research niya, ang innovation niya is a fuel enhancer for airplanes. Sabi ko, pakitignan mo yung website kung may financial inclusion angle, but seemingly it was his research. Baka thesis niya yun, very chemical no?
Opo.
But
actually, sir, kay Ariana din daw, sir, may nag-message na interested pero not so relevant to financial inclusion.
Yep.
Okay, sige. Kevin?
Yeah. So, sa akin, for me, again, may closing remarks. Thank you, Sir Alvar.
Sige, for closing remarks pala, pahabol na lang. May katext ako yung isang, dati siyang DTI secretary ng ARMM. So, she's also into financial inclusion. So, we're planning, in a sense, may pagka-roadshow targeting NGOs in Cotabato and Barm this Friday morning. No, siya yung resource person, and then yun, no, yung we can do it jointly, and Ariana, if Ariana wants to facilitate that, then that's fine. So yun lang yung pahabol ko. Kasi madaming NGOs in BARM, and then madaming pera yung NGOs and the government in BARM. So we just wanted to engage that geographic segment. So yun lang yung pahabol kong note.
Friday po yun.
Yes, Friday morning, either 9 to 10:30 or 10:30 to 12.
Yeah. Yun.
So we can just sort that out offline na.
Yeah, actually sayang hindi ako pwede. Merong board meeting ng morning ng pero yeah, I mean Sam, Trix, I mean anyone from the team can attend. And I mean it's very important even in the virtual environment for us to. Actually nakakatuwa kasi just to share, Sir Elmer, invite ako with well, this is for a different advocacy but I'm doing outside work, but yun nga, in-invite ako ni Sir to sit in yung sa SK. So from Sulu, tama Sir, no?
Basilan.
Yan. So yun, they're very enthusiastic. I mean nakakatuwa to develop innovations. Yan kasi I'm involved in nga more on governance innovation. Pero when we look at it, there's so much networks that we can tap. Kumaga, if we can say that in the challenge, we get to, let's say, invite the SK from Basilan, di ba, to participate. So, I mean, that will be great, no? I mean, talking about financial inclusion in the context of BARM, in the context of their local industries, di ba, yung stakeholders. Yun, I think that will be good. So anyway, quick lang, thank you again, Sir Elmer and Sir Alvin, for being here with us, for facilitating this to our session. We highly appreciate the discussion, the effort that was placed in really coming up with an understanding, for giving us this understanding of what financial inclusion is all about. Na you allowed us as well to basically discover what's our notion of financial inclusion before, of course, my before, of course, my presentation of let's say a framework, di ba? Na the framework kasi it will only be defined based on one's personal experiences with them, and I think it's good na we had that discussion. And siguro for me, just to add on dun sa mga kanina na I guess when it comes to the competition, whether we're talking about responding to typhoon or not, financial inclusion will be a need. And the reason why, and when we're talking about startups, in the end of the day, we're talking about market. We're talking about client engagement, meaning, when you were talking about a startup, it's always expansive, meaning, let me take this from I mean, alam naman to ni Sam. Yan, yung I'm a number one fan of this Korean novela right now. Yung startup. Sobrang so in startup kasi they created this technology for the blind, 'di ba? Na yes. 'Di ba?
May briefing na tayo.
Yes. Yung Noon Hill, 'di ba? They created it for the blind, 'di ba? So it's the same as financial inclusion, parang inclusion din for the blind people. I mean, for those na malabo, yun yung paningin nila to see. So si Dosan, he created that technology in an incubator. Pero na-realize, ang tanong sa kanila ni Jeep Yong, the venture investor, is it scalable? Is it something that will more people will use it? Else, yun nga, it's for charity. So napaisip actually ako noon, parang in developing our financial inclusion tools, parang okay, we're creating for farmers. But in the end of the day, we're not just creating for farmers, but eventually other sectors, and not just farmers for Cagayan, but farmers for the entire Philippines. So regardless of where they are, they can still actually get that customer persona, even the farmers within their respective municipalities and cities. Kasi yun nga, startups are meant to expand to the different regions in the Philippines. So yun, so I think it's perfectly fine if, let's say, okay, we can still retain the same how can we question, but of course we can add these insights of the emerging needs of the farmers in Cagayan specifically, kasi the needs of the farmers in Cagayan might be the need also of the other farmers in the Philippines. na perhaps as a startup, no, if we are to ask ourselves how much are we, yung ROI, return of investment, yun nga, it will achieve scalability once we see na the solution is not just for them but for all the farmers in the Philippines. So yun lang. I think yun. So hindi siya parang closing remarks eh. Parang nag-share na rin ako ng parang thoughts ko about the discussion earlier, no, about the typhoons and all. So yun lang. I think yun, our direction is to create development innovations that are using the startup model. Yun. Kasi it's different when we're creating for a particular community and a startup. Kasi if it's a development innovation for a community, definitely it's for them. Para yung startup kasi, it comes with the realization na it should expand. It should technically scale up. So in a way, when you see scaling up, okay, parang you're trying to meet as many market needs as possible within the context of the sector you're working with. Yun. So not just one group of farmers, but all the farmers in the Philippines. Yun. And siguro, as given the trust of Halt Price, yun nga, one small solution can be multiplied to 50 million people. So I think that's our direction for this challenge. So yun lang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sige po. Thank you.
Okay, thanks
Ayan.
everyone. We'll
Thank
be in
you.
touch.
Thank you po.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thanks so
Thanks.
much.
Okay po. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ay, sir, andito ka pa ba?
Wala na.
Message ko na lang. Sige, may message ko na lang. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.